Cheers time?
Yep.
Oh,
Cheers.
Yeah!
Episode 81.
Cheers.
Cheers! Well,
Jason, get in frame. Get closer.
No.
You're out of frame.
Come get close to me, big fella.
Fucking Brews Day.
There you go.
Tonight we've got the Prohibition Ale. We have the, what's the other one? Modus Mandarina.
There it is.
And we have Conspiracy Talks with Derek Miller. I don't know if you wanted me to say his
He
last
milled
name,
up
but
in the
I can
house.
bleep it out
What's
later. And St. Patrick's Day this weekend.
His address
You forgot about the
is...
G13. Yeah, right? My social security number.
G13 we did last week. That was just pregame.
Oh, okay. Alright.
Yeah, the pregame's good, though.
Hey, I forgot you went to the UFC fight. Did you get that shirt there?
Yeah! It was $35.
Jesus.
The beers there were $9 a pop.
Now Nathan is networking. Nah, David, I had to go to St. Louis to teach a class, so I wasn't going to make it back to Salinas, so we figured I'd stop in, see Jason, teabag Brad, and, get down.
So, really, Wilcom's in the big gay house, sleeping with 5 fucking dudes. That's the reality.
I didn't say you were
There's
staying
the
here.
dick-to-ass action up in that house is out of control.
There's no sleeping involved. It's
Yeah,
all action all the time.
all action.
I was welcomed by action. I walked in and there was tacos. There was Mexican food right when I walked in. Was it? Oh yeah. I don't know where he got it from, but woo-hoo-hoo.
Who was it?
What's his name?
Do you guys
Future
respond
Jason.
to
Justin.
comments
Future Jason.
as
Yeah.
they come up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Always cooks fucking
James, what's up? Guess who's in KC and didn't let you know?
Charlie eats chicken fingers every fucking day.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
David was just talking about
Every
in the
fucking-
chat.
wait, I take it back. Except Friday. Friday he has
Beers are $9 a pop. Doesn't make sense, Dave. $9 beer.
Where's that?
What are those?
Oh.
We got 11 people in here.
You gotta scroll on the
Oh,
chat.
at the
I just want to refresh it
$9
Okay.
beers, huh?
so it stays alive.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh!
Did they freeze?
Uh-oh, what?
Nothing. I'm just being weird.
So we got 12
No.
minutes till review. Where do we want to start?
Yes, fucking worried.
Kate, so it says beers were $9 a pop. Doesn't make sense, Kate. $9 a beer would, though, since beer is what you were talking about.
That's stupid.
These are alive.
Josh,
I read that
god
like
damn
Kate.
it. Don't be a pain in the ass.
You didn't start it there, though.
But I'll tell you,
Bears wear
What's up,
$9 pops.
this shirt was $35, and the fights were pretty good for the most part. The main event was pretty disappointing. Derek Lewis didn't show up. But we did bet shots on each fight. And we had a party bus there and back. So I had to take 3 shots on the party bus on the way home. After probably 12 beers. And then Sunday morning I woke up and the room was still spinning. And it was,
So the question is, do you remember what happened all of the ride home?
I remember probably being more obnoxious than usual.
That's fucking impossible.
I don't believe you. Was that shirt $35 a pop? Josh took one.
Yeah, they were $35 a pop, Josh.
$100 ticket, $35 shirt, the opportunity to drill a new glory hole, priceless.
You damn
Did you steal a
right.
glory hole on your
You
travels?
damn right. I don't know what Gavin's obsession with glory holes is. It's like, it's literally, it's unhealthy.
So Derek, there's a funny story about Tate. He loves glory holes, and he tries to find a glory hole on every travel he does at truck stop.
And then Dave writes Tate's names next to it whenever he finds one.
Is that the common
Not much
spot?
of a party if Tate is
Yeah,
involved.
truck stops.
Yeah.
I really wish I could have actually, like, literally seen a real glory hole. I've just not had the opportunity.
So, speaking of glory holes, and this isn't quite the same one, but did anybody see the glory hole of the duck getting swallowed into it? It was really a sinkhole in the middle of a lake. but they called it a giant glory hole. The first thing I thought of was
Yeah, I didn't see this.
You said a duck got sucked into it?
oh my dick, Winnie the Pooh.
Gross.
So did you get a pop for $35 and it came with a shirt? Ooh.
Did you say a duck got sucked into the glory hole?
Yeah, it's a duck.
Poor duck. Poor quacker.
Poor duck.
Oh.
Glad you're worried about the duck.
That
By the way,
delay's
I'm
killer.
glad that you're wearing the rice hat while Derek, the man of Asian descent, is on the show.
You must have not heard the racial slurs that I was throwing towards my Asian
I was telling
buddies.
them it's called a sedge cap, even though I know white people commonly refer to it as the rice patty
Oh,
hat.
it's a rice
or
patty.
the Raiden hat.
I like to call it the Raiden cap.
That's what it is. I mean, that's what I think of it as, too.
Raiden, yep.
I hope everybody understands that.
Lol.
I do like that he did.
You like to call him out.
What
What do you say?
Josh Cook says
There's always
racist
like a
fuck.
little break because they have.
We're instantly taking our viewership down the hole. As Dave Chappelle would say, this is the episode that's going to get us taken off air.
Possibly.
I hope so. I was telling them before the show, I'm going to try my best to offend everybody. So just go down the line.
Yep.
Derek, I would be offended if you didn't offend everybody.
It's gonna be great.
Where do you guys want to start?
David is talking about some Tate Hated real well
fucking
already.
Jeremy. Was there a quack in the ice? Oh, fucking
I want to know what Jason brought to the table tonight because he was pretty quiet precast.
What do you mean? What I brought to the
Conspiracy-wise.
table about what?
Conspiracy-wise.
Anything?
Do you believe in any conspiracies? Try to-
My biggest conspiracy that I've believed ever since probably middle school is that dairy products in general are manufactured in association with the government to breed bigger, stronger people in the U.S., which is why we force it on kids in school, why there's a big push for dairy about 20 years ago, why we cover cheese in everything, and why it's pumped full of growth hormones. It's actually what makes us bigger than most other countries. Most other countries can't digest milk and milk products and things like that. I think that is my biggest conspiracy, is that they play
Really?
a huge hand in that,
That's like a super...
getting us to consume it in mass quantities.
That must be like more of an obscure one. I've never heard that before. But I mean, there is... I could see that. Like, they don't let you drink raw milk. They've done feds have raided like Amish farms for trying to sell raw milk and stuff. It has to be pasteurized. And in Asia they have like a bit of a lactose intolerance. So like they don't really eat a lot of dairy. They won't put a lot of cheese on their food and stuff, in general. So I mean, there could be some truth to that. I heard a crazy conspiracy theory the other day, and I don't subscribe. I'm not saying I believe in it, but someone was, saying that like milk was like a code for Moloch, which is like a pagan god that is like about child sacrifice, and that's why like they always put like the missing kids on the old cartons and stuff. Like it was out there, but I mean, it was just weird that you brought up milk because I heard that the other day and I'd never heard that before, and I thought most conspiracy theories, weren't new to me.
Jeremy,
Conspiracy is how many motherfuckers are actually allergic to gluten. It's fucking bullshit. You're not all allergic to gluten. You just think you need to be on a diet. So fuck off.
So Josh Cook says, what kind of gay shit is going on in that room? Josh, I'll just tell you that we've all wondered that, and that don't take a black light into that room, because it's overwhelming.
We already did. What's up, Nev? What's up,
Josh
Brad?
Cook said Bush did 9/11.
That's just computer.
Obviously,
I don't think you can push enough credit for being that smart to do 9/11.
Yeah, that's true. Bush was definitely not the mastermind. He was just someone who
He was the figurehead.
He went along with it. Yeah,
Dick Cheney definitely made the most money off of 9/11.
Iraq War.
Actually, I would say probably from what I know, Larry Silverstein, the owner of the World Trade Center buildings, made the most. He actually took out a insurance policy on terrorist attacks, specifically like 2 months before it happened. And he got paid like double or triple because 3 buildings were taken out. So I mean,
he got away with insurance fraud.
That's pretty suspect to me. I mean, that by itself. I mean, we get into all the other dozens of reasons why it's bullshit. The official story, but I feel like 9/11's kind of passe anymore. Like it's a little.
What?
So Destin is asking, what? Neff is asking if you live in KC, we'll come. I'll let you feel it.
Oh, my man Ed. He's on the comments. Hey.
Fucking there. Drop some love. My little roommate, Edward III. No, man, I am actually, I taught a class today for work in St. Louis, so I'm driving back. We're staying the night here in KC, so I stopped by to do the show here with Jason, check out the digs, Teabag Brad, the usual.
Nobody's moving in.
Nobody else is moving in.
No.
They can't afford one more man here.
They didn't even want Jason to move in.
It's a big fucking room.
It's always warm.
So does
Frankie,
Jason live in
hi
KC?
Frankie,
Yeah.
welcome to the show.
Okay.
He moved there not long ago, a few weeks.
I mean, the laundry room is as big as the living room in the dining room area.
2 and
Do
3.
show adjacent equal gay orgy. That's what Brad said.
Brad, you fucking live here.
Is your,
You see that
is your
comment?
guest
Is your guest drinking a fucking
drinking
Pepsi?
whiskey?
It's a chaser, motherfucker.
Yeah.
I had to drink some whiskey before I drank the beer. I riff best.
Whoa. Are you even drinking the review beer? Chug that. Don't chug it.
This isn't even chuggable
Shut
amount.
that shit, Eric.
Cheers.
Put it down.
Cheers.
Cheers. You got to get the review beer in your hand. We got 3.5 minutes.
Cheers.
You got to think about it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
right.
there's gonna be a little more room on the couch so when Jason gone. Oh, love you, Jason.
What?
Oh, look at it. Oh, switch it over. You didn't see how much room Derek has on that couch.
You fucking did that job.
Hey, we'll tell you very long on that couch.
Dude, this couch is roomy. This is the triple XL couch. Triple XL
It
couch.
made me feel comfortable on that couch.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chewy
Live from
stretched out
Seattle.
from asshole to nose. And
What? Chewy filling in for? Oh, there he is. I see Chewy.
he's stretched
He'll
out,
keep it
man.
warm.
He's right here. He's just barely out of frame.
Yep. You can see him right there.
No, did everybody get that snap from Nev about the beer? He's like, have you tried this? And I was like, no, should I? And he goes, no, do not try this.
Yo, Nev,
do not try this.
what was that beer again, Neff?
That's the one we almost got, the Hop Slam.
Hop Slam?
Yeah.
Take learn numbers, at least up to 3 anyway. About
2
time.
minutes, we'll review this beer, and then we'll get on to flat earth and shit.
I don't know if I want to get into that though, really, because I feel like I could talk about that for like 2 hours, and a lot of people aren't down with that.
we can at least
Jared,
touch
It just
on
is
it,
what
right?
it is. I mean, I could come back another time and
Because
just,
you still...
I don't like. I just want to put it out there. I don't like 100% believe in it, but anymore,
You won't deny
it. I lean towards it more.
Than not.
So Derek,
Then
this
not,
was
yeah.
my big thing.
It's like
with
60, 40, 70, 30
I want the
range.
to prove to me either round or flat. Nobody seems to be able to do either or. So I just want someone to give me the solid evidence.
Well, for me, I just feel like the burden of proof should lie on the globe earthers because they're the one with the counterintuitive model. That, like, if everyone was like, like if you were just going by your 5 senses, most people would come to the conclusion that the Earth was flat and motionless. It's only because people trust in the hierarchy
Yeah,
of
because you have up,
science.
down, and over.
Yeah, and
Right?
yeah. How does a compass work on a round Earth?
I've never seen a
What-
compass actually work. Have you ever seen a compass actually work?
I think. I mean,
I'll send
I
a
guess.
book, Actually,
But shouldn't it be a gyroscope?
Gifting. It should
There's-
change
I don't
over in
know
about the
into
next
all that.
1,000 years. Should. It changes about every 100,000
This
years.
dude, you chase with more whiskey. I only got a half. I should have got a pint. I didn't. It's a work night. It's a school. It's a school night.
If that's Neff, he used to be on the show. before Welcome.
Yeah, he's a wannabe
Dustin
anymore.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
What's the other one? Or-
Yeah.
So if we pull this,
No, yeah,
since we're not going to get on flat earthing.
Yeah, look at this dude. He's like, I just can't. I
Do
can't
not
even.
watch
No, it's fine. You know what? Whatever.
On what is it called, Derek? It's called Behind the Arch or whatever.
Beyond the curve.
Beyond the Arch.
Yeah.
We already
No,
offended
Beyond
Neff,
the
so you're making progress.
It's fine.
Alright.
I told Chris beforehand I'd rather not get into that because it's such a like. I know that people's like gut reaction to that
Pepsi
topic
drinking
is
flat
like,
earther.
Like I don't want to initially discredit myself just by being like you're a crazy
I know.
asshole by talking about that because
True.
that was my initial gut reaction. You'd be crazy not to think that if you've never looked into it. You know, like because we've all had that drilled into us for so long.
And Derek, I'm not saying like I said, I just want someone to prove me one way or the other which one is actually true. But
I would say that there's a lot more.
It seems like you're people trying to act out of control and try and get fame off of it than actual tell you what is going on and why they believe what they
But
believe.
he's making a good point that he doesn't want people to just discredit him off the bat by starting with that topic, which I understand.
Okay.
I don't know.
He's fucking
Yeah.
brilliant when it comes to this shit. I don't care what you guys think.
So our Twitch viewer is saying that a black light should have been taken in that room long ago.
That's Brad.
Oh, it's Brad. Okay. Whatever. Then I'm really upset that
It's fucking horrible.
That's what the comment I was just reading.
All right, it's review time. Jason, go.
This isn't my fucking beer.
It's not mine either.
Alright. It was Nathan.
Why he does this?
I really don't like this. I really don't like it. It tastes like a nutty brown mixed with a red, a splash of amber in it, and it's all the things about them that I just really don't like. And then my very last drink of the last can that I had like a really heavy alcohol flavor to it. I just nope. It is definitely not for me. I would not go out of my way to find this again. It's okay, but it's not good. It's gonna get a 4. It's me.
What about it don't you like?
I just told you everything about it I don't like.
So
You didn't actually say anything, though.
He doesn't like the flavors.
Tate, you can't make him do a longer fucking thing when you talk shit on him every week for taking so long about giving his rating.
See? Fuck you, Tate.
So, I will say, I'll start off with the artwork is really fucking cool. I do like the Prohibition Ale and the you know.
I like the little eyes on them.
Yeah, with the girl on hand on the guy, like the old school throwback 30s, 40s. Look good. It says ale, but I think you said brown. I actually feel like it's more like a brown or a lager.
Yeah, like a brown.
Yeah.
It says amber ale on it, right?
It just like it says amber ale that strikes the perfect balance. I'm not sure what balance they were trying to strike, but I don't think it's terrible. I probably wouldn't go out of my way to buy this, but I would drink it if somebody gave it to me. Just because I don't mind brown ales, I don't mind lagers. But it's just not the thing that would kick out to me that I would want to go out and make myself. Yeah. So I'd probably give it a 6.5. Damn. It's not terrible.
We'll answer that after the review, Blair.
Is it possible to pee with the boner? Yes.
How is it? I have a conspiracy theory and clutch. You can't clutch it.
I just read that.
It's impossible to pee with the boner.
Have you ever seen 40-Year-Old Virgin? Or what was that movie?
It's impossible.
Yeah.
There's a switch in there that flips over.
You gotta relax a little.
Dude.
When peeing with a boner, do you aim down or do you push it down?
What'd you give it, Welcome?
I do a handstand.
Shoot it up over your head.
I do a handstand pointing down. I put my feet against the wall.
I aim back.
Jason is an expert at angles and
Took a lot of math classes.
He
you
fucked
take-
up
you
a
go next.
lot.
Did Wilkin give it a number?
6'5".
Okay. I think this speaks amber to me. I get the brown reference, but I think it's pretty smooth and it's almost creamy. I don't mind it. It kind of reminds me of, like you said, a brown mixed with a red, but I also get a lot of amber to it. It's almost like an amber warbeard, and I did not expect it to be this dark. It's almost like you can't see through it at all, but it has a red tint to it. I don't think I would buy it again as far as like getting a 6-pack and getting hammered that night, but if it were at a bar or something, I'd probably get it on draft and have one or so. I'm going to go with 6.5 as well. It's right there on the...
You fucking notes to pass calculus.
What? What?
So what'd you give it, Chris?
6.5.
No.
6.5?
It's right on that borderline to where I'd buy it at a bar for a beer or so, like a big beer, but I wouldn't buy a 6-pack to drink all night.
I am very impressed with how dark it is.
Yeah, it's got good color. This is our first beer by them too.
Yeah.
I was gonna say they have the other one, and I'm very interested to try that one.
What's the other one called? I like the name of it. If like, I mean, it's like it's kind of funny.
No, it does count. Sometimes we shit all over the labels or the art. We're like,
yeah.
this fucking artwork sucks. But you want to go or him?
Go ahead.
You want me to go ahead?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Confident Mean, I'm in KC. What's up?
So, it strikes me as surprisingly alcoholic. Like, it seems stronger than I was expecting. And maybe that's just the way it kind of hits my my palate, but like,
It's like full flavored.
it's a full flavored kind of beer. But I don't find anything about it like off-putting. I like what you said though. If I was at a bar and it was on tap, I'd get it. I don't know if I'd necessarily go out of my way to buy a 6-pack, but yeah, I would buy this on tap at a bar and wouldn't have any issues with it.
And it's 6.1%. I don't think we mentioned that.
Yeah, but I'll give it a 6.5. Seems about right to me. That seems fair.
I think we're all in agreement that we still have Derek to go.
Oh,
But I would definitely like to try this on tap just to see how it tastes. Maybe not Jason.
Oh, are you out of this thing now?
I pretty much agree with the consensus. Like, it's a passable beer. Like, it's not something I would go out of my way to order, but like, I'm a little buzzed, so I mean, it's good. I like the film noir can, but yeah, it's made in San Francisco too, so it's like 6.5 sounds about right. Just kidding.
What up, Caleb? 6.5 too.
Yeah, I'd say okay. I'll just yeah, 6.5. That actually seemed. Not trying to be
And it's not
unoriginal, but like that seems like a good rating.
Jason's a moody little bitch.
Seven seems generous and 6
Yeah.
seems low. Like I was like, really, that's really how I feel.
He's like, I hate it. It's a 4.
It's better than me like Tate. It's got fruit in it, and it's not really a beer because it's a sour. It's garbage. I drink it every week. I'm gonna buy it, keep it in my fridge so that all my friends can taste it. But it's the worst thing ever. 9.5, but I just can't.
Greatest thing ever.
Fucking piece of shit.
Oh.
So what now? Where are we at? Where do you want to go?
Garbage.
I'm getting ready.
Me?
I'm getting ready for the next beer, but yeah, you go for it.
I don't know.
No, this
Someone
is
bring something
great.
up to
This
me.
is great conspiracy.
Like, what do you guys want to hear about? I don't know. Like, there's too
Chat.
much. Like,
People in chat, what do you want to hear? We had the can you pee while you got a boner? That's kind of not conspiracy at all. That's just some troll.
How about the fucking weather?
we
Yeah.
talked about that a little bit earlier.
How about the weather?
It's all fucked up.
And that kind of
Derek called Donald Trump winning the election 6 months before it happened.
Because it was obvious to anyone who paid attention. Like, if you trust the mainstream media, I'm not. Look, okay, this is going to bring a lot of hate to me already. Because I'm not even a Trump supporter. I felt the same about Trump before he was elected, after he was elected. I was pretty much indifferent to him. You know, like, it amazes me that they were able to manufacture so much hatred and vitriol to this guy that pretty much everyone liked or was indifferent to. you know, just by media influence. But I could see it from like the ground up. Like the news was trying to tell you he didn't stand a chance in hell, but he kept winning. He kept winning the primaries. He kept winning the debates. You know, I'm like, he's gonna win.
Well, how do you win a debate?
Hated on me for that, but it was just obvious to me. No one liked Hillary.
How did he win the debate?
If Bernie would have, if Hillary wouldn't have stole the Democratic nomination from Bernie, I think Bernie Sanders probably would have won. Not that I'm a Bernie Sanders supporter either,
I think so too.
But he had more support. You know,
he had more grassroots
support.
And
you're
not choosing between shit and shit. You actually have a decent option.
I mean, I guess. I mean, I don't really like Bernie Sanders either, so it is what it is.
We're going to give you a platform here. Who do you think wins between Bernie and old Biden?
Oh. I don't know who's going to win the Democratic primary, but I would be willing to bet money at this point that Trump's going to win the re-election because it's almost like the Democrats are trying to sabotage themselves. They have like 27 candidates. They're all not very great. You know, like it's a shit show. Like they're trying to copy Trump's style of politics.
Shit, you said vitriol.
Vitriol.
I think the two strong candidates are obviously Bernie and Biden. But I think that there's going to be something that fucks with them.
Has Biden actually formally announced?
He has. Yeah, he did. Actually, like last week.
All right, this one's coming for you.
Okay, we got
Alan Sanders coming with devil worshippers in Hollywood, the moon landing, false flag operations, Alex Jones, the Clintons, Obama.
Damn.
Let that boy Derek run.
This is just going Okay, so what was the first one? Aliens?
The Hollywood devil worshippers.
Hollywood, yeah, it's full of pedophiles and Satanists. I mean, that's nothing new. I mean, whatever.
They go to a random place in California, fuck each other, and bang little boys.
Yeah.
I need more beer. I'll be back.
Bring it on. I'll bring it on.
I don't know if I want to get into this like so early either, but I mean,
So I once read a thing where somewhere in the backwoods of California, I don't know if they were necessarily
children go missing
other,
all the time. That's true.
But they were at something, and it's just like the higher ups. It's essentially the Illuminati. But they all go there, and there's some fucked up shit that happens. You know about it. What is it, Derek? Speak.
Hollywood is just a perverse place. It's trying to push, like, I don't know, backwards cultural values on people. I mean, they're all sexual deviants, pedophiles, or Satanists. I mean, I hate to ruin your celebrities for you, but like, yeah,
pretty much none of them are decent. What about Keanu Reeves?
Okay, maybe like
Keanu Reeves is a decent dude. Don't fucking talk shit on Keanu Reeves on this goddamn podcast.
We worship Keanu Reeves. No.
Cody used to call me Neo all the time.
John Wick is the shit, though.
Oh, yeah, I like John Wick. It's one of the better modern action films. But just because they do stuff that you like doesn't mean that they're, like, morally
I watched Keanu Reeves give up his seat
like,
on a subway to some disabled
I've
lady.
never heard anything bad about Keanu Reeves, so I won't say.
So we can't say all.
Okay,
but he's not like mainstream fucking
8%,
typical
90%.
Hollywood.
I would say 90%. I can firmly say are.
He's like
sexual deviants, pedophiles, or Satanists.
Keanu Reeves like Hollywood
because that's how backwards that place.
You got to stick away from absolutes.
Yeah. No, I mean I always leave a little room for error, or there's always exceptions to every
that
rule.
Percentage.
Yeah,
it doesn't participate.
Yeah,
that still makes it right.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like you can. I think it's just harder now. Older school Hollywood actors. Not Keanu.
Elvis pedophile, Mick Jagger pedophile, Rick Ross pedophile, Tekashi 6
Oh, it goes so deep. Like it's way more than that. Yeah. All the Jewish directors, all the fucking whatever. I don't know.
There we go. All right, let's go into Jewish directors. So is it a conspiracy that Jews run?
I want to, I told Chris and Tate before this podcast started that I want to try to offend every group of people I can, in the most loving way possible.
So now, since we're on Hollywood talk, go with the Jews.
Okay, well, I mean, Jewish people, I could do a whole podcast about that, just like flat earth. I mean, it's like, that one's so obvious. We're socially conditioned not to talk about it, but, I mean, Jewish people, they run Big Pharma, they created oxycodone, all this stuff. They run the porn industry. They run Wall Street. They run Hollywood. They run, you know, I mean, to me, it's like an inner fight between like warmongering Jewish people and like perverted leftist sodomite Jews, you know, like that are just, I don't know, pushing the gay agenda. I mean, and people are so conditioned to like look away from that and be like, oh, you're Hitler. You're an anti-Semite. I don't hate all Jews. I love a lot of like, I mean, I can't say that I personally know a ton of Jews, but like, I don't know. There's definitely good groups of Jewish people, just like everyone else. I just think.
So do you find it crazy that we are talked more about with like Hitler killing Jews? And I get it; it's terrible. Don't get me wrong. Like it's awful what happened during World War II. But do you think it gets overlooked a lot? Like people like Stalin killed like 30 million.
I think yeah, exactly. I think people disproportionately focus on Hitler and they don't talk about Stalin or Mao Zedong or Pol Pot because Jewish people run the world in a lot of ways. I mean, you can't argue that. They're in like the highest positions of power. So they want to indoctrinate everyone from a young age in the education system. They like Jewish people are some of the most victim mentality type having people, you know, and that they run culture and that they want everyone to have that victim mentality, you know, women, minorities, gays, whatever it may be. And they still talk about shit that happened like 2,000 years ago, you know, like in Egypt. Everybody's been a slave at some point. Every race of person has faced oppression. Why are we like always taught like this disproportionate amount of Jewish oppression compared to everything else if it weren't for the fact that they didn't run, you know, the education system, the government, Wall Street, Hollywood, everything, Big Pharma, you know, and it's like one of those things you can't talk about. It's taboo, but it stares you right in the face. It's like, why? Because we're all socially conditioned just to, you know, people are told that we have free speech, but everyone kind of knows on a cultural level, like, what you can and can't say.
I'm with you, man.
You know what I mean? Like, you're still kept in a box. Like,
because... Well, I think
just because you grew up and you were taught something doesn't mean
it's kind of spread with the news, you know.
We're taught that Columbus discovered America.
Yeah, and even that's not probably not true.
It's absolutely not true.
Yeah, I mean, like Leif Erikson and the Vikings, like, yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, that too. I mean,
you can't discover something that is already inhabited
by the first world whites. That's what they mean.
Yeah, Columbus discovered for the whiteys,
yeah.
America.
So Derek, something that I've always known about you is you very closely follow politics, for better or for worse. I always ask you your opinion because
generally,
it's either going to offend me or piss me off, or I'm going to completely agree with you. So
aren't those the only fucking options?
They really are. That's why I love them. So when following, especially like the news, and I know that you talk a lot about the media and knowing that like with Trump and the outrage that was caused. So what would be, and this isn't necessarily a conspiracy theory, but this is more of a bullshit-o-meter. What websites or TV ones, you know, channels are completely full of bullshit?
Fox News.
Pretty much
Besides
everything
Fox
on
News.
mainstream.
Anything on cable?
I feel like at this point in time, you pretty much have to go to the alternative media to find truth. Like, everyone's got an agenda.
Like HuffPost.
Like, there's certain things
You gotta
to
go
look
to HuffPost
at.
to get the real truth.
No, that's not big.
Don't
like
even.
that.
Like, I think he's trolling me right now. Like, definitely not Huffington Post.
What? You're Huffington Post?
No, I just feel like there's too much special interest. There's too much of a history of lying. You know, like when you learn to critically think for yourself, you like see like one of the first things you think about is like, what does this person have to gain from this narrative? You know, and like I trust the people who are just out there trying to tell the truth, despite what it may do to them socially or financially or whatever. You know, and there's so many people out here like promoting the same type of narrative that will help them. You know, and I just looked at, you know, I follow the money trail. I try to see what makes sense to me. And I also look at the history behind it, you know. I mean, like, even if a story sounds outlandish, if enough people say it from, like, different unrelated sources, then there's probably truth to it, you know. It's Occam's razor. Like, even if it seems absurd, like it probably is the truth. You know,
Only believe it
really...
if it's live streamed on Facebook.
Like right here, bitches.
You heard it here first. Facebook Live.
Well, I mean,
Thanks for the follow, old tag on Twitch.
literally, you can't believe anything that comes from the TV. It's
Yeah,
all
you really
manipulated.
can't, yeah.
You can't believe any of it.
You got to research your shit.
Unless you saw it with your own eyes, or a buddy of yours is live streaming it on Facebook, how do you know if it's actually true?
And now you have people just reading headlines of an article and going, "Hey, I heard this happen," and everybody's like, "Oh, I believe that now too."
Well,
Instead
you
of
get people
actually
sharing
diving into shit
So-
being correct.
Well, I feel like another important aspect of it is you have to be able to like think in terms of a person who doesn't give a fuck about other people, who is just trying to run everything. Like, what lengths would you go to, you know, to manipulate the masses? What would be the best course of action to?
Yeah, watch Game of Thrones and tell me how ruthless.
Yeah, exactly. And
Fucking-
people are so convinced. Good people don't want to believe that evil people are real. But
Yeah.
I mean,
They're holding their hands up. Wait, okay, we'll come. Jason, put your hand down, goddammit.
Jason, go first.
God damn it. Nah, I fucking forgot. I was too
Alright,
busy
well-
giggling about this shit.
Alright, so you went,
But what did we talk about before this?
you went full on into that, but for real, like, what are some good websites or whatever it is that you look at to go into to find the actual?
KGB.gov.
I mean, I used to be like. That's hard to even say. Like, I don't know. I feel like I just try to like compile a lot of information from different sources and use my own discernment to kind of like figure out the
You have,
truth.
like,
There used to be like go-to sources that I had, you know, but maybe it's this that I'm too skeptical, or that like I just don't want to like put too much faith in one person. That I
I don't think anybody would ever blame you for being too skeptical.
What do you think about this Alexandra Cortez woman, whatever the fuck her name is?
She's a psyop. She's a psyop by the left to convince
A
everyone that
psyop by the I like it.
she's like she's
Way
like
too
a
hard
very
for her.
obvious
She's
attempt
too
to make the left not seem like they're a bunch of old racists. Kind of. That's how I feel. They're the original KKK party. They always use race politics, identity politics.
That fucking cunt. God, I just
It's not actually against politics.
And she
I
obviously
fucking-
doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about. I mean, people in New York don't even like her. You know, like she doesn't even have like an office in New York. Like, she's a total establishment shill. That's how I feel.
I've not been able to form a concrete opinion on her yet.
Alan said you need to write a book.
Thank you. Oh, Jesus. Okay, great.
Hey, you know me out to do a documentary. I'll do that. Maybe when I'm older, I'll write a book. When my girl gets old.
Chris
I'll
talked
take more time.
about people barely reading anything. New York Post did an article. It was almost 4 years ago now. It was 6 paragraphs, so not much of a read. But they had outrageous headline with the very first paragraph was just supportive of a strong belief, and then they opened comments, which they don't normally do.
New York Times is also owned
But
by a Jew.
paragraph 5
Just
was,
saying.
if you've
Whatever.
read
Not
this
trying to
far,
go in the anti-Semitic
put the
route,
word
but I mean,
banana
just saying
in
they
your
own the media.
And it took 4 weeks for somebody to actually post the word banana in the comments.
Post what in the comments? Sorry, I missed the last part.
Yeah, the word banana.
What
What
about
was
it?
supposedly offensive or whatever about that? Let me see. Oh, because it's like
No, it wasn't that. They actually read the article
article
to support what they're bitching and arguing about.
There's literally six paragraphs.
You guys
and
cut out
shit,
for a
big
sec.
paragraph
Start over.
With bananas.
Sorry, yeah, I'm
It's
like
a big
totally
paragraph.
lost. I have no context for it. It's like a New York Times article about bananas.
Jesus Christ.
Oh,
It's okay.
All right, what did you say, Jason?
Okay, there was a New York Times article about a banana, and
No.
somehow there's a conspiracy. Oh no, I was just wondering.
there was a New York article, and it was to show that people don't actually read articles at all. So normally they don't allow comments in their articles. And the point in this was to make an outrageous headline with no factual backing at all.
Yeah.
And then make the first paragraph just absolutely supportive of that headline, and then go into talking about how people don't read. And then in the 5th paragraph of this 6-paragraph article was if you've read this far, because you actually know what the fuck we're talking about, put the word banana in your comment. And it took 4 weeks for somebody to post the word.
Okay.
I totally believe that. Okay. All right. Yeah. No, I
One way or the other.
Huh? Oh no. No, I totally believe that. Yeah, I mean, there's lots of times like people don't hold the mainstream media even accountable. You know, there's plenty of times they've been caught lying, that they publish false stories up front, and they won't print a retraction. You know, either the print media or the news media, they won't print a retraction for like a good month or so. But by that time, people have such short attention spans, they're already moved past it. You know, they're like, they don't see when like the publications say like, oh, we may have been wrong about that. You know, they just run with the initial story, you know, because that's what news is about a lot of times, you know, the outlandish or whatever is going to get, you know, get ratings, sell copies.
I feel like that's an all politics right now.
Say what?
Perfect instance of this, and I think you'll back this, is during the whole election process, Fox News and CNN News both talked mad shit on Trump, right? And then they came back, and Fox News started to kind of lean back from it as they started to see that he was. But they were both very adamantly against the one person.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they were like, one of them was like, "Oh, this is our new president. Let's go!" Da, 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 da.
I mean, I don't know. I don't really know what to say. I feel like it was like the popular thing to hate on Trump during the election. You know, like that's one thing that kind of gives me like an element of trust towards Trump, even though I'm not a Trump supporter. It's just how much the mainstream media hates him and how much I distrust the mainstream media. You know, like I think a lot of people don't.
I remember saying that specifically was that with how much the mainstream media is going against him, and we all looked at you like you were obviously crazy because it was like, no, man, this can't be the guy who's going to be our president. But in hindsight, what you were saying made complete sense because there's never been a president to this day or a candidate that caused that much backlash with what he was saying. So when it actually happened, it was like, holy shit! Like,
we talked about this like a month ago.
We were looking at news.
Kind of. What if? I mean, I believe that this whole
got a lot of hate for that.
This whole voting system and government that the mainstream media and people see is just a fucking reality show, and then there's an actual government running some shit on the back end that nobody fucking knows about.
I mean,
that's
my
conspiracy.
go deeper down the rabbit hole. I mean, yeah, I believe that's true. I mean, I feel like there's a controlling class, and there's like this whole red-blue. You can take it down to like Crips and Bloods or Democrats and Republicans or whatever. Those are the houses of Freemasonry. It's a false illusion of choice. You know, like
let's put this shit on
McDonald's
TV
or Burger King,
so
Verizon
they focus
or Sprint,
here, but let's
like
move all the pawns here. Type shit.
Yeah.
That's what I like. That's my like thing that I've always believed. Let's put shit on the TV, confuse people, make them hate each other, and run shit on the back end while they're just doing whatever the fuck they're doing.
Yeah, I still didn't understand what like all that coverage about the Jussie Smollett thing was about. You know, like I was like, it was like a really cringy, embarrassing story. But at the same time, I couldn't help but think in the back of my head, it's like, this is really like what every news outlet is going to cover for like 3 weeks straight. Like, what's going on in Congress? What's going on with foreign affairs? You know, like there must be something that they're, and I haven't figured out what it is or what it may be. But I mean, I do have a strong feeling that that was like some sort of a distraction tactic.
I think it's all distraction tactics.
Yeah.
I see a lot of your posts. You're like, while the Super Bowl was happening, some important shit went down. And I'm like, I love hearing shit like that. Like, it's fucking awesome. I don't want to watch sports anymore. I'm too fucking busy to watch the Super Bowl or sports. So, like, I don't know. It's cool.
It all just boils down to like, yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's been too long.
Yes, Derek, go down the rabbit hole.
Well, all right, what do you guys want to hear about? You need to get like
chemtrails.
Chemtrails.
Call it
okay.
that.
Chemtrails. Stratospheric aerosol injections. Yeah, we talked about this earlier.
Alan, you can ask Derek any question you want about the rabbit hole because we will get fucking buck wild with the shit.
Red or blue pill?
red or blue pill, we're going down the matrix.
We got a review on this
That ties
beer.
into what I was
in a
just
minute.
talking about, the whole red, blue, whatever. But I mean,
No, we can't
I
break
do think that it's an app.
We have a minute.
You have 1 minute.
Tate can mock the way that he blows guys for a minute. We can
Oh,
solve it.
so Chelsea said this whole conversation reminds me of high school econ class with you guys and Terry. I don't disagree.
Well,
What was it we were just about to...
Chemtrails!
Oh, chemtrails. I don't really have a lot to talk about chemtrails. I just think it's funny how that, like, if you say the word chemtrails, you're considered a conspiracy theorist. But if you talk about geoengineering or stratospheric, whatever, aerosol injections, it's totally mainstream science. You know, you can go onto, like, the Security and Exchange Commission website, sec.gov. You can pull up a PDF file from the late 60s, early 70s. It was a treaty between Russia, China, and America, and it was basically talking about how they wouldn't use weather weapons against each other. I mean, that's not a conspiracy theory. It's declassified. You can look it up if you care to see it, you know? Like, they've had the ability to make it snow in, like, 50-degree weather. They can make it rain in droughts. Like, it's nothing, like, it's not just HARP. It's all sorts of stuff that you need. Whatever.
it's not that it's possible. It's just, do you believe it or not?
Ed just asked, what's your take on the Vegas shooting? That was a total freaking psyop, too, to take people's guns. That was run by, I think the Podestas are, like, half owners of Mandalay Bay, you know? And, I mean, it's just absurd to think, like, if you've ever been to Vegas or whatever, that you could sneak in, like, what was it, like 48 guns, 38 guns?
Yeah.
And multiple reports of shooters from multiple locations, although they peg it all on one guy. You know, and they, as soon as the story, the official narrative started falling apart, they stopped reporting on it, like, right away. You know, because they didn't have all their loose ends tied up, you know. There was actually witnesses that died during the Vegas shooting. There was a young girl who posted on her social media, and I can't remember her name, you can look up the article, but she basically, you know, was saying that I know there was multiple shooters, I was there, and then she died mysteriously in her home. You know, like, there's lots of stuff like that, and it's just par for the course, you know. I don't know.
And then they just call...
I'm not saying no mass shootings aren't organic, because there are a lot of crazy people that are on pills and stuff, you know, but a lot of times it's orchestrated, I think.
But you think it's orchestrated to try and have guns taken away?
Innocent.
So
yeah,
hold
well,
on.
yeah, no, I think that's an
a percentage of it, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's an element of it.
Beer.
Modus Mandarina review. Even though I have the
Alright.
fucking
The
Prohibition
Modus
sign up.
Mandarina review, because I've got a whole lot of gun scenarios going in the last hour, so we're gonna get into this one.
Oh, okay, yeah, we can talk about gun control too. I mean, I guess, and it's just not really super deep down the rabbit hole. I mean, you can go back in history. It's super easy to tell any ruling class wants to take anything away from the populace that allows them to defend themselves. They've banned swords, they've banned crossbows, they've banned guns. America and Switzerland, and there's a few other countries like in the Middle East. They're only countries that are allowed to have guns anymore. But you'll notice they'll talk about how high the gun crime rate is in America, but then you look at the countries that have had guns banned, like in England, and the amount of, like, rape, breaking and entering, deaths by stabbing have gone through the roof. You know, so it's like, what are you going to do? Like, you can't just take people's... I don't know. That's not the solution to the problem. That's only what you would want if you want to oppress the population. You know? Like, people aren't that crazy.
We'll go further down this rabbit hole. Right. We're gonna put it on hold so that we can go over the beer.
Okay.
Modus Mandarina.
I think I like this one a little more.
Mandarina. Indian Paleo. Tate, what? No pours this week? You're fucking slacking, bruh.
My bad.
So Indian Pale Ale, dry hop with Mandarina Bavaria hops and brewed with.
And one of the things on the top says Kyle. I don't know what that means.
It does.
So.
Kyle.
Actually, it says Kyle Recycle. Maybe they know Kyle and they're like, fuck you, asshole, recycle.
Maybe.
Like, whenever you go to a bathroom in a shitty restaurant, it's like, hey, so-and-so, wait, what was it?
Damn it, Chad, recycle.
Oh, no, we went to it was a Golden Corral, and it was a fake post in the bathroom, but it said employees must wash their hands, especially you, Tyler. And I was like, oh, okay.
No, so I know it says orange peels, but I like the Mandarina because it.
This is you
This
first.
is me first. Yes. Sorry, I picked the beer. I was in the bathroom last one, and I really had to pee again, so I'm going to go this time again and not go before I pee, so Jason gets put in my first position. But I definitely taste mandarin oranges when I drink this, and it's very delicious. Tate just looked at Chris like I was fucking crazy, but you know what, Tate? It's mandarin oranges, and I think it tastes delicious. This is definitely a IPA that I would drink again.
He's wearing the
And
Chinese hat. He should
I fucking love this. I'm giving it a 9.5.
Mandarin orange taste.
Mandarin
Pun
chicken.
intended, motherfuckers.
If you don't like the beer, you gotta
I
take
like the
hat
General
off.
Sows. That's my preference.
The first time that we've had a peel beer that I've actually really liked it.
It's peel. Where do you see peel?
Orange peel right here.
Orange peels, yep.
What'd you give it, real come?
I think it's great. It has great bitter aftertaste that is not overwhelming. Fucking delicious.
Fucking stone.
What
Fucking
score did you give it?
Stone. Fuck your Stone. Go fuck yourselves. I hate you. You should never make beer again.
Jesus.
Fuck off. Listen.
Did he even give it a number?
What's the number?
Give a number. Whatever.
9.5.
Yeah, we did.
Damn. Okay. Tate, you want to follow
Yeah,
that?
I'm gonna follow it up.
Then we'll go Jason, then me, then Derek.
You bunch of drunk assholes. So we've had Scott Brewing.
What'd you say, robot? Android?
Oh wait, no, it's still gonna have 40 megs.
You got like 40 kilobytes.
Maybe. No, he said bunch of drunk assholes. I said that's my band name.
Ah.
Can I say that we have a really good history with Scott Brewing Company?
Fuck you! That was gonna be in my review.
Oh, my bad.
Damn it!
I think we were all thinking that.
That was literally what I was getting ready to say as well. But these assholes.
But yeah, and that's him joking on balls.
Glory hole.
Are they going to shut up? Get them, Tate.
I'm running out of patience. I do enjoy this, and I agree with Wilcom that as far as the beers that have been marketed as being peel based or orange peel, grapefruit rind, whatever it is, that I like this one better because it's just a little bit less harsh. It's more balanced. It's more enjoyable. I'll give it a 7. I can see myself buying this if I'm in the right mood.
Are you fucking kidding me?
A 7 is I'll buy it again.
You gave the grapefruit a fucking 6, and you give this a 7?
You gave it a what? A 9.5?
Yes.
Are you kidding me?
Yes.
Yes, I'm kidding.
I'm kidding you.
All right,
9.5.
Jason, you're up.
You gave it a fucking. You gave it one higher than the bullshit ass grapefruit. $15 beer. This was what, $8.99?
Jason, you're up.
It
Yeah, I
tastes
think
great.
all of Scars is cheap.
You made a $14.99 beer that tasted like ass a 6.
He still has his opinion.
Yeah, I
Hey, where are
appreciate
you?
it.
This is America. Thank you, Tate.
Thank you, sir. On to the next.
Thank
Thank
you
you
for
so
your
much.
Irish people
Snappy,
running out of
thank you.
The
potatoes.
last hour
and
will be
moving
full,
here.
and I want you to
No, that's cool.
roll with
That's
it.
all right.
Jason, you're up, bro. And then it's gonna be me, then Derek.
Good. No offense to Tate, he's wrong. This is a pretty good beer. I'm not a big IPA guy at all. I didn't notice it as my first beer, and as we say constantly, make sure to drink 2 or 3 beers before you actually try a new one.
Amen.
This is, once you have a beer or 2 in your system, you can taste that orange. Heavy orange. and it is fucking delicious. This is very smooth on the back end. It doesn't have too much hops. It's a good drink. Yesterday, this was my first beer of the evening, and I couldn't notice the orange so much, but today I can definitely notice the orange. I really like this. As far as an IPA, and I mean, I wanted to give it a 7.2, but I feel like that it means it equals taste, which isn't the case. This is, for me, as an IPA, I would buy this again, which means a whole lot more. So it's got to be at least like a 7.5, maybe an 8 for me. I mean, it's really good. This is a very orange.
So an 8.75.
I guess very good. Fucking graded a goddamn IPA.
Or a 7.75.
Yeah.
And it says lip up fatty on it.
A lot of
some
their
dancers on the side.
You want to go?
But to further that point, yes, Ska Brewing. I don't think we've ever had a bad Ska Brewing beer. In fact, I think some of our best beers have been Ska Brewing.
Because they had the
Pink Vapor,
Stickle,
Sour Apple Gosa,
the Tart Mexican Lager, and Mexican Lager.
I tried it the first time, didn't like it. The second time I tried it, I loved it.
The Tart is way better.
All right,
it's much better than just.
Derek's up.
I mean, I'm definitely not a connoisseur of fine food or drink. I appreciate the designs on both these beers, but I mean, you know, it's a good beer. I'd say it's slightly better than the Prohibition. I'm gonna have to agree with Tate and give it a 7, probably.
Nice.
It's my.
It's better than Tate.
I like little fruitier beers sometimes. Whatever.
Cool.
7 means you would buy it again. Is that
yeah,
correct
I would buy it again. Yeah. I'd have to be in the mood for it though. But I mean, it's good.
Tate said he'd piss on it, so fuck Tate.
And you don't drink craft beer a whole lot, do you?
No, I don't really.
So
yeah.
I mean, they're passing the test. He's a new craft beer drinker basically, and he doesn't mind either of these beers. So that's pretty huge. Most people would be like, fuck this shit.
No, this is good. I like it. It definitely has a very distinct orange peel taste to it. Yeah. But I mean, I like oranges, so.
But that's a key, Derek. You, as a person who doesn't necessarily drink craft beer, are the perfect person for this show because this is something that you would have never tried. Exactly. And you actually liked it.
That's why I keep trying to get my brother on.
I don't drink beer.
The show?
No, he's like, I don't drink anything other than like Bud Light, and then he goes to Arizona and he's drinking craft beer every fucking day.
Every week.
It's complaining. This isn't conspiracy or beer, but did Homeboy go to UFC Wichita, or if so, did you enjoy it?
Yeah, he went. Tate went.
You damn right I did.
Go take a piss.
Okay.
And
let me do my review, then you can.
All right. Yeah, right, dude. I sure as hell did. I love that beer.
Jeez, welcome. This beer, I don't know what the name means, but I like it. It's got the big hops on the side of it. The art's cool. Ska Brewing is just pretty legit overall. It's very mandarin orange flavored. It's kind of juicy still with the peel. I like it. It's a good IPA. It's one of the better IPAs we've had in the last 6 months. 6 months, I think. I'm gonna give it an 8. It's pretty solid. And a lot of orange beers, orange just doesn't settle well with a lot of people. They did this one well.
You either like it or you don't. It's kind of like, especially with beer. You
Brad drank a half gallon of fucking orange juice on Sunday, so I don't know anybody who doesn't want orange.
Hit up your UFC.
All right, so we're ready to get down to the nitty gritty.
Shut up for a second, Wilcom. So yeah, I went to UFC, and it was okay. I wish the fights were better, but the experience was really good. The main event was the worst fight of the card.
Sounds like he's cut.
They took a party bus to Wichita and back.
Oh yeah, that was great.
They did it big.
We had 15 people. So it was a good time, but I wish the fights were better because Derek Lewis didn't show up. And that was the main event. And JDS just ran through him.
Alright, so it's my turn?
Go for it. Give her hell.
Alright, Derek, we're getting to the nitty fucking gritty here.
Alright, let's do it.
Is everybody else ready? Oh, browsing kind of here.
I feel like we barely scratched the surface.
Yeah, we haven't done shit.
Alright, Edward.
I can't believe a whole hour's already passed.
So, was 9/11 an inside job?
Oh, come
and
on.
if so, who was the reason for it?
I would
The
say...
FBI.
I pretty much came to this conclusion like 10 years ago, but yes, I mean,
I think
I would
we
say
all-
obviously most people with common sense think this now, but
I'll tell you who didn't, my dad.
no, well, I mean, yeah, there's lots of reasons why people might not want to believe it, you know, cognitive dissonance, their own personal, they don't want to overcomplicate their lives. I don't know. But yeah, I do, and I wouldn't say it was Bush. I would say it was like dark, like whatever, more like compartmentalized elements of the government that carried it out. You know, I mean, Cheney was a key element. I think it was CIA, NSA type people. I mean, we get into all the evidence as to why it was. I mean, it's, you know, they found people's passports that blew up through you know. The fact they fell into themselves like a controlled demolition, the fact that like 5 different news stations reported Building 7 falling when it was still standing,
Yeah.
Larry Silverstein taking out insurance policies specifically for terrorism, Dick Cheney taking over NORAD, telling everyone to stand down, saying they were running drills for if terrorists actually did take planes and run them into the World Trade Center. It's just like, what are the chances?
Then you have the Building 7 shit.
And the FBI
being a
confiscated.
government building, right?
Yeah, and plenty of architects and stuff will tell you too. Like, there's no way that a building can collapse into its own footprint like that unless all the like structures, all the steel beams that are supporting the structure came down at once. You know, there's been instances where, like, I mean, and people always bring this up: jet fuel doesn't burn at a high enough temperature to melt steel. Yeah, and that's true. But I mean, regardless of whether or not it was true or not, even say like hypothetically jet fuel could burn steel,
It's not gonna do
they
it
would
evenly.
all have to like collapse at the same time.
So
There's
you're
been
saying it
instances
was like-
where like entire buildings have caught on fire for days, and firefighters weren't able to put it out. And what's left after it's gone? Just the steel frame. You know, like you can look in South America. There, you know, there's been plenty of instances where steel frame buildings burn.
The I-beams
And
are
the
still
only
standing.
thing, yeah, and
So you're saying
the
there was a
beams are still
controlled
standing.
explosion that was going on, that was
Yeah.
orchestrated, that we had designated
I
points.
mean, what's
where
even the
things were
official
staying.
narrative? What, 19 Saudi hijackers pretty much took over some whatever Boeing 757s or whatever, and so we use that as an excuse to go into Iraq and fight Saddam Hussein, who allegedly has weapons of mass destruction and then chemical weapons. That all turns out not to be true, and then we kill him. But why wouldn't we have just gone, like, I mean, it wasn't ISIS back then, it was Al-Qaeda and the Taliban. But, I mean, they always said Osama bin Laden was, like, target number 1. Why'd we go into Iraq? Because they had oil, lithium, heroin. You know, like, people, even Fox News and mainstream reporters like Geraldo Rivera, like, did reports about U.S. troops guarding poppy fields. And you can look at, like, the increase of people using heroin from 2001 to the present day, and it's gone up like 90%. Where do you think all that's coming from? You know, like,
$2 billion.
That's the touchiest subject that I think we could maybe touch on, but I don't give a fuck. I told you.
You think 9/11 is the touchiest subject we could touch on?
No, the troops guarding heroin
So there,
fields.
question number
To go
two.
back to our population.
Okay.
Sandy fucking Hook
Yeah,
wasn't real.
That was like a really
That's less
touchy
than what I just said.
No, I don't know. That one is a touchy
I
subject,
think.
and I'm unsure about it. You know, I feel like there was a lot of discrepancies with the mainstream narrative. I feel like Obama went up and fucking shed crocodile tears after it happened, and it was suspect. But I don't want to just say like 100% that it was definitely like a false flag orchestrated thing, because I don't want to be insensitive to people as far as like whatever.
If you're not gonna be insensitive to people on that one, Boston fucking marathon bombing.
Definitely an inside job, I think. Or definitely like a false
Thank
one.
you very much. I mean, tell us why.
Family Guy predicted that one. They fucking promoted the bomber like he was some sort of rock star on the cover of Rolling Stone and stuff. You know, like just lots of reasons. They sell fear. Fear is a product too. You know, the same with all this global warming shit and whatever else. I don't want to get into all that.
It makes ads cheaper.
Yeah, it's easier to.
Emotions.
Yeah. People think emotionally, like, first and foremost nowadays. We've been programmed to think only with our emotion. We don't think with our logic or our ethics. You know, like, it's all... There should be 3 parts to everything that you consider. You know, but most people only think emotionally. Because that's how we've been programmed to think. It's all just about how something makes you feel. And that's like a very fallacious approach to any topic.
Fallacious.
It's a logical fallacy.
A logical fallacy? Oh, I gotta look this up. This is a new word.
Fallacy is basically just like a...
Yeah, I know what fallacy is, but I've never heard fallacious. That's
just the... yeah.
Okay.
Like up front.
But it's a
fallacy.
Yeah.
I'm looking it up. Hold on.
I don't know. See, like, I think what most people consider conspiracies,
All
I've
right.
been, like, so deep into it for so long, it's just like...
You're like, this
yeah,
shit's
obviously.
child play.
Yeah, no, I don't know. It's like, yeah, I'm not saying anything. No, I appreciate, like, you keep asking me whatever questions, because you're keeping the conversation going.
Yeah.
It's like... I honestly, I mean...
Touch on Russian infiltration.
Russian
I
infiltration?
want to ask you. Go ahead on that, but then I have a question.
Like, in what context? I think that, like, every first world nation uses, like, I don't know, subversion tactics, espionage tactics.
You have to.
I don't think that
Otherwise you're not
Russia
relevant.
is like anything.
Like hacking their social media to make their
if
general
anything,
public
Russia
go against
is
each other.
yeah.
type shit.
Russia's less relevant now than it was during the Cold War. You know, like they actually were like someone that we were up against, but they're kind of a failed state trying to get back on their own 2 feet at this
Have
point.
you seen?
know, like they.
Have you seen videos of them live in Russia? They're all just drunk dudes with guns. They're worse than we are.
I have a lot of respect for Russians. They like there's certain countries like Russia and stuff, you know, like as crazy as they
But
are,
they're hard
they
people.
put out they're tough and they put out brilliant scientists. You know, like Germans are like that too. You can call them Nazis, whatever, but they have brilliant scientists. You know, Russians are the same way. There's a couple Asian people like that, and of course Americans. I mean, we've invented everything. I'm not trying to take anything away from white people. That's why I hate all the white guilt shit too. I mean, it's just like if you hate white people so much, like stop using everything that white people ever invented. You know, don't drive a car, don't use your phone. Like, if you really hate white people, like,
I'm guessing. Have you watched dude's? God damn it, the rapper, his show on Netflix.
Rap is all created by Jews too.
Yeah.
NWA was created by Jews. Tupac, as much as I love, you know what? Like, it is what it is. I ruined all the celebrities that my girl loved for her, you know? And it's like karma is coming back on me, and all the people that I used to like, it's like becoming obvious that they were fucked up too, you know? And there's certain, like Michael Jackson, Tupac, like I always defended Michael Jackson. I was like, no, he was raped as a child. Like, he was just an
Michael
arrested.
Jackson did not get convicted by the FBI, but there was one whatever that put it out. I just read this to Jason earlier. That's the only thing there is an HBO special. Fuck HBO.
That, and there was a huge push.
Oh yeah, that HBO special. But I mean, that was pretty damning. I saw parts of that. Sorry.
What I was talking about was
There's no way he could have even fucked kids at that point, and his mind was so regressed that it's just not even possible.
I still think there's a possibility.
Like, has stated, hey, it never actually happened. We were forced into testifying to this.
How is that
But it was
not just
after-
hearsay though?
I like getting into the celebrity stuff too, but I just don't think it's as relevant. But I think that, like, Michael Jackson, I still give him the benefit of the doubt in some ways. I think that either he was raped as a child and that he really was just like an Arrested Development asexual type person who really liked to like be around kids because his dad was so fucked up and stuff.
Well, they think
Or-
they stripped him of his testosterone and like cut his balls off when he was really little.
Or I think he might have just been replaced in the 80s because that motherfucker was like, I don't even really like Michael Jackson after I was born. You know, I like the Jackson 5 and his old shit. But I always defended him.
You might not know this, but Ed will. Is Paul McCartney dead?
Yes.
That's another crazy celebrity one. There's a lot of circumstantial evidence to suggest that it could possibly be the case. You know? I mean, he's even been asked in interviews and stuff, and he acts like kind of suspect. If you guys ever want to look at this one, it's like a mockumentary about someone who's pretending to kind of be George Harrison, but they use a lot of real-life evidence. It's called The Winged Beetle. Online, on YouTube. Check out The Winged Beetle and see. Like, you can just decide for yourself, because I'm still a little on the fence about that one myself. I'm not sure, but I could totally see how that it would be the case. He definitely looked like he changed in certain ways, like looks-wise.
I think that for them to come up with such a colossal conspiracy that Paul McCartney is actually dead, that they had to go through a lot of shit. I'm the Walrus. He has the Walrus head. Abbey Road. They have the everybody walking. He's the left-footed one with bare feet.
That's like a funeral procession for an Abbey Road.
Like, they went deep down that rabbit hole just to make it seem like he is dead for him not to be dead.
So we're talking about that as we've talked about flat earthers, but can you truly believe that every pilot, every astronaut has covered up this conspiracy?
Well, okay,
you want to get into flat Earth? Okay.
Money can do a lot of shit to people in interviews.
That's a joke.
Well, first off, just to your point, I want to say that it's not necessary for every pilot to be in on it. It's only NASA astronauts who are the vast majority of them Freemasons. I know there's SpaceX and other international space agencies, but when you look at it from the context of like, I don't know, like a money-making scam, like a black budget black hole. I mean, NASA makes upwards of $20 billion a year. They get like so many millions of dollars every. And to what do they give us? You know, they give us CGI photos.
Nothing.
And yeah, exactly. Like, why are we paying so much for that? Did you never mind.
So okay, Derek. Let me be a question asker.
Because I know no one will know.
Because I love this conspiracy that we've landed on the moon. And
okay,
it's a conspiracy to you.
My girlfriend is like, hey man, we landed on the moon.
We definitely have never been to the moon. I can say that
first of all,
with 100% confidence. I can say with 100% confidence we've never been to the moon. We've never been to the moon, and if you believe that, then I'm sorry. There's just no hope for you as a critical thinker. Like, it's a ridiculous notion that we've been to the moon and we haven't been back in 50 years, and they just destroyed all the telemetry data. They lost all the equipment and data for arguably, not even arguably, mankind's greatest accomplishment ever. You know, and even though that technology has improved leaps and bounds since then, we can't replicate something we did in 1969. At the same time that Arthur C. Clarke and Stanley Kubrick both made a film in coordination with NASA engineers about how to bullshit space. You know, and you believe that. Like, I'm not... Like, that's ridiculous. I'm sorry. It's just ridiculous.
I like how he puts it.
Wasn't this on the show? And didn't Toast get killed?
Who?
Toast of London. He was saying that the moon landing was a conspiracy, and he actually walked in on the set, and then he got killed.
All I know is, like, I mean, I really was kind of hesitant to get into this topic, but I mean, like, even the own NASA astronauts, their testimonies don't agree with one another. They can't even agree with whether or not you can see the stars from the moon. You know, like, Neil Armstrong, he became a recluse. Look at the interview of after the Apollo astronauts came back, supposedly from the moon. You know, like, they don't want to answer questions. They're contradicting each other. Neil Armstrong became a recluse. Buzz Aldrin became a fucking alcoholic. His mom died like a year before he went, and coincidentally her name was Moon.
Okay.
And then Michael Collins, I don't fucking know about.
This is the big one I don't know about. So the big things about us landing on the moon is biggest one is there's supposed to be a radiation.
The Van Allen
zone.
radiation belt.
Yes. Okay. Which at that time in the 60s or 70s, whatever it was that we landed on the moon, there is no way that they would have been able to go through that. And this is the biggest reason why the Russians stopped trying to go to the moon. And it's by their head astrophysicist or whatever he was, is why they stopped trying to go to the moon, is because of that belt, the radiation belt.
Yeah.
But that's the number one reason that we have. And their biggest thing now, for the people who naysay it, is, well, let's reproduce what is going on with that in the same spacesuits that they have at that time, and then if they get harmed, then are they fucked? And if not, what's going on?
I got another question too.
Yeah, they actually did interviews with astronauts about that too, and they were apparently not even aware of the Van Allen radiation belt, which to me I feel like is just kind of code for the biblical firmament or the dome of the flat Earth or whatever. Like when you want to get into it, I mean, you get into the history of Jack Parsons and Walt Disney and Werner von Braun, who was a Nazi scientist that
the people. Sorry, Jason is dying laughing because Chunk 2387 put a giant penis on Twitch and put, "Do you like the juice?"
Is that what that is?
Do you like what? I'm not even seeing the other comments. I haven't even.
It doesn't make sense on our screen.
Yeah, it's a bunch of gibberish.
Nice try there, Chuck.
I can't see the comments. Yeah. I would like to respond to all the comments, but basically, if you just look into the history of NASA and everything, if you look at it from I guess the flat Earth narrative, the U.S. funded a bunch of expeditions to Antarctica, and then right after the last one, they funded NASA, and it was kind of Jack Parsons, Walt Disney, and Werner von Braun, who was brought over after World War II in Operation Paperclip, which is where we took a bunch of Nazi scientists and engineers, took them into the CIA and whatever. Werner von Braun was the person who basically founded NASA, and then when he died, he put only one thing on his headstone. It was from Psalms in the Bible, Psalms 19:1, and it talks about God shows his handiwork, and he shows his work in the firmament. I'm obviously paraphrasing. I can look up the exact quote from the Bible from you, but it just seems weird to me that the Nazi scientists that we recruited for our space program put something on his epitaph about how the world has a dome on it, basically. And since then, I mean, I can just.
What is it? Psalm 19:1.
Yeah, Psalms 19:1. Just look up Werner von Braun headstone.
Because this is the biggest one that I think a lot of people. I know
yeah,
Flat Earth is kind of making
Braun.
its
There he
way
is, top
to
right
everybody.
there. Look up Werner von Braun and then type in headstone, on his. Yeah, there you go.
I think that
Werner
the
von
moon
Braun's
narrative
headstone, right there, 1912 to 1977. That's the founder of NASA, right there. And what does it show? Psalms 19:1. Look up Psalms 19:1. I'll tell you exactly what Psalms 19:1 says. I'll look it up right now.
Oh, this one's fun.
You want me to go down the rabbit hole?
We can.
There's so much. It's not enough.
So while we're looking at Psalms 19:1.
Oh, I mean, I basically told you the gist of what it says. It's just a paraphrasing,
I can
whatever.
look that up too.
Okay.
Yeah, you just look it up. Psalms 19:1.
I'm
It's
going to
the first thing that comes up.
Yeah. So on Werner von Braun's headstone, it says, "The heavens declare the glory of God. The skies proclaim the work of his hands. Day after day they pour forth speech." No, that's 19:1. Night after night they reveal knowledge. That's not the right one.
It's wrong shit.
Yeah, it's he clicked on the right. Here.
No, but for real, with that, so
Psalms.
the craziest part.
I'm just gonna go to Bible
is,
or whatever that shit.
one that I came prepared for because I watched a documentary on it. So the biggest issue issues with us landing on the moon. First one and foremost is the flag.
Oh, can I read this real quick? It's 2 sentences. Sorry.
Wind,
My bad, Wilcom.
Which is supposed to be of any kind of atmospheric anything.
Yeah.
Other than gravity.
This is it right here.
But with that gravity, if you double time them running, it looks like they are running through sand.
Who, the astronauts? Or what?
The astronauts, when they landed.
At very least, the footage was definitely faked. You can make the argument that possibly we went to the moon, but the footage is definitely 100% verifiably fake at this point. Like any...
Yes. So there was also...
Verifiable through where?
And just so sorry, I just want to read this one part. There's like, this was on Wernher von Braun, the founder of NASA, an ex-Nazi scientist who we brought over after World War II. This was on his headstone. It says, "The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament shows his handiwork." The firmament is basically code for the Van Allen radiation belt. It's basically saying we can't get to the heavens or space without God. And I don't want to make it a spiritual thing. I do believe in God. But, like, nothing that's led me to my conclusions has anything to do with, like, religious fanaticism, drugs, or insanity.
Religion doesn't lead him to his findings, basically.
Yeah, like, I actually came around to it despite what I thought was logical. I was raised Christian, and then I became agnostic, and as I looked into the world more, I realized that God and the devil are real. That's how I really feel. Yeah, it's obvious, really, when you look for the signs, like, everywhere.
Do you believe in the devil?
Yeah, I believe in God and the devil.
I don't from a religious standpoint, but I believe in good and bad internally. Like, as far as, like, how humans act and think and do things.
I believe that we live in a world of indifferent beasts that all kill each other, and our bodies are recycled, and we become part of the
like
earth.
what they want you to believe, because that takes away your personal power. Like, if you think of yourself as someone, like, the whole narrative of that, the Big Bang Theory just blew up from nothing, then you evolved from monkeys and tadpoles, and you're just a speck of cosmic dust in the boonies in the corner of the universe, that is so much less empowering to the average person than, like, God created you.
You think you have to be empowered?
You don't have to be empowered, but I'm saying if you were someone trying to control the masses, would you tell them the truth about their existence, or would you make up something that makes them feel a lot lesser than what they actually are? You know, and that's what they do.
Are we arrogant enough to think that we're so important that we have to dictate what's going on?
It's not about arrogance, though. It's just about natural science. What is observable? What's repeatable? What you can see with your own five senses. You know, like,
what's observable?
What's different?
Wolves eat bunnies.
Okay, well, if you're going to talk about flat Earth, like, what makes you think the world? Like, prove to me that we're standing on the side of a spinning ball. It doesn't seem like I'm moving. It doesn't seem like I'm defying, you know, the physics of everything I've ever fucking learned. You know, like, there's no less faith in trusting mainstream science than there is the Bible or whatever else. And I'm not trying to sound like a religious heretic. You know, that's just what I believe. And I feel like a lot of the problems.
It does seem like, standing here, that everything is.
Yeah, they've done studies. Actually, you know what? This is relevant to all of us. And you can look this up, too. They've done studies that says that Kansas is flatter than a pancake. Literally. It's flatter than a pancake. A pancake has like a 0.997% flatness, and Kansas is like 0.999, whatever. I mean, I'm guessing on the numbers, but you can look this up. It's a mainstream article. Kansas is flatter than a pancake. But if you go by the own mainstream science of, like, the curvature or the geometry of, like, what the Earth's curvature should be, being roughly 25 to 26,000 miles in circumference, we should see about 20 miles in curvature throughout a 400-mile distance from east to west in Kansas. But no, it's totally flat. It's flat the whole way. Why don't we see the curve?
So, Derek,
20 miles is a lot.
Yeah.
Can we all come to the compromise that whoever said that Kansas is flatter than a pancake has never had to go to class on the University of Kansas?
I mean, I will admit, on the face of it, it's a pretty absurd, like, fucking experiment to do at the beginning. Like, who set out to be like, oh, Kansas is flatter than a pancake?
I mean, when you drive through Kansas and you have these cliffs, and you have these rolling hills and shit, you can't like perceive that it's flat. But over the whole state, fuck yeah, it is.
Yeah, I mean, Neil deGrasse Tyson said that if you were to shrink the Earth down to the size of a cue ball, it would be smoother than the smoothest cue ball that ever existed.
Yep.
Or whatever, because he was talking about like the
cue
highest
ball
mountain
would have
was like
texture.
the K2 versus like the Marianas Trench or whatever is only like 12 miles in distance. And that's great, but I mean, like, why are so like? And I bring it back to my previous point. Why are so many people willing to believe that the universe is infinite? That just because Elon Musk says we might be living in a simulation, that's totally a possibility. Neil deGrasse Tyson says that the Earth isn't actually spherical; it's an oblate spheroid that's shaped like a pear, and everyone will just accept
Elon Musk who says that
of science.
So every year there's a big
No, I know that
thing,
Elon Musk didn't come up with that concept. But the fact that he supported it made it so much more easy to accept mainstream. Even like if people got into it, like you can look this up. Bank of America, a bank, said that there's over a 50% chance that we live in a simulation. And people use that. Like, why is Bank of America even fucking talking about that shit? You know, unless there's an agenda. I don't know. You can look that article up too. Bank of America says there's over a 50% chance we live in a fucking computer simulation.
Fucking Eddie Bravo. Yo, look it up. Look it up.
Eddie Bravo knows what's up because he's got spiritual discernment. You don't have to be the most book smart. And I don't like to try to brag about this type of stuff, but Chris, you know I was smart in school, right? I was always gifted. I got scholarships.
Same here. That's why I'm right there with you, bro.
Yeah. I've been tested as high as like a 145. And I don't like to talk about that stuff, but only just to make it seem like I'm not a total fucking idiot that will just believe whatever anyone tells me. Because that's total...
Business Insider is not trustworthy.
I don't believe in space, and I don't believe in aliens. So, I don't believe in reptilians. I don't believe in a lot of fucking conspiracies. A lot of conspiracies are garbage.
Okay, what do you think about our governments that we don't see, in my opinion? We see the mainstream government, and I think there's this background government working on humans or genetics or genetically modifying.
I honestly think that a lot of the black budget funds that we get from NASA and the space programs in the world do go to black budget underground genetic testing and stuff. Yeah, like some fucking Island of Dr. Moreau type shit. Yeah, It's not about outer space. That's just the fucking fairy tale that they sell to people.
About here.
Don't believe in God, believe in NASA and space, and we're gonna fucking use your taxpayer money to clone humans that are part cow and sacrifice them to fucking... That's another thing too. Look that up, BBC. That's a court article about whether or not it's okay to fucking sacrifice humans that are like 3% pig or cow. That was like 10 years ago. Because there's logistic loopholes.
What the fuck is he doing?
What are you doing, Welcome? You're being creepy.
I only got to take over the camera. He's in the bathroom.
Well, it's also because we keep ignoring them.
There you go. There's a 50% chance we've been living in the Matrix. Our world should be simply a simulation, says Bank of America. I don't make this shit up. I wouldn't fucking say it.
And of course, I'm getting Apex
But
Legends
everyone
ads.
will believe that because Bank of America and Elon Musk says it, but they will deny their own five senses and believe NASA about the shape of the Earth. I mean, and people say, why would there be a conspiracy about the shape of the Earth? I mean, on a base level, it's about just taking your money. But on a spiritual sense, it's about making you less empowered, taking you away from God, believing in a cold, Newtonian, lifeless type of existence where intelligence comes from non-intelligence. What sense does that make?
Yep.
It makes no sense. Any spiritual person, any person with common sense can see that that's not the case. I don't know. I mean...
Does this shit make you feel alive?
Do you think that
Yeah, and that's why I don't care if people hate me anymore. I don't even fucking care if I alienate myself. I intentionally try to alienate myself to fucking weed out people who
idiots.
And I'm not trying to be like all preachy, but one of my favorite biblical whatever, and I'm not like super Christian whatever, you know, I believe in God and I believe in the devil. Titus 3:10. Everyone thinks that Jesus was some great guy, but he wasn't. I mean he was, but he wasn't like just all about peace and pacifism. Like he flipped over Jewish money makers' tables, that took part in like usury practices, and you'd like count your chips now. Titus 3:10 says, warn a divisive person once, warn him again, and after that, have nothing to do with him, because you have like some people will never hear the truth. You got to keep it moving. Like some people will hear you and some people won't. Don't waste your time on people who can't see the truth. Like just keep fucking going. Don't worry about what people think about you.
That can apply to a lot of shit too.
Yeah.
Like, reach out once, okay, and then reach out again. If they don't rebuttal, fuck them. Move on.
Yeah, exactly. Life's too short.
I don't believe it. I never read the Bible or been Christian or that shit. But
I don't believe in any
as
like
far
religion.
As
I just think
good, bad principles. It's there.
I consider myself a spiritual person. I don't think Christianity is completely right. It's obviously been subverted in a lot of ways. Nothing that like man creates can be 100% accurate. Like it's obvious it's been revised, translated from all these other languages. Yeah. Like people change shit to like fit.
We're getting into religion. We're gonna talk about the
Jews and Muslims think it's okay to fucking rape little kids under 9 years old. I mean that's in the Talmud. Jewish people say it's okay to lie to you. It's okay to read the Talmud. You're Goya. Why do you think they circumcise you? Sorry, I'm getting too. Do you know what circumcision even is? It's a practice of Jewish ownership of slaves.
No shit.
Talmud says it's okay to lie to Goyim, human cattle. It's okay to rape children. And they always talk about the Torah, but the Talmud is just as relevant to like. And I'm not saying all Jews are bad or anything. Like I don't hate any full group of people. I don't like a lot of Orthodox and Hasidic Jews and like whatever. But there's good ones like the Sephardic Jews, like people who are just from Israel. They care about their families. Like they're just down to earth type of people. A lot of Jewish people will be like, yeah, take out the leftist sodomite Jews. They're gonna get us all fucked up. Like we're not down with what they're fucking preaching, what they're talking about.
But nobody hears about that shit.
I'm not a hateful person. I love every type of people, but I have issues with every type of people too.
Same.
Yeah.
So we're ignoring
Welcome, what'd you have?
And Jason entirely. We've talked over them about 4 times.
Sorry. I'm getting a little too tipsy. So, I'll let you guys talk for a while.
The whole Bible thing.
You were raised Christian, right? Welcome.
Say what?
You were raised Christian, right?
Yep.
What do you consider yourself now? Just out of curiosity before you start. Are you agnostic?
You guys are cutting out like crazy.
Are you agnostic, or do you still believe
I hear
in God?
Brad upstairs.
See, and I don't want this to become like a religious thing either, like because it seems kind of like whatever. This is my own personal beliefs. I can't prove them. Some of it's based on faith. It's just basically.
Pounding on the floor right now. No, not necessarily. Sort of high school family.
We cannot hear shit.
Not afraid to say. Christians actually made me not believe.
I get you. That's the whole reason I stopped going to the church.
No, I told you.
I was a fan of a band called. It's not Toby Mac, but the whole point of it was a song that was called who act by the analogies of their lips and taste by the benign of their actions, as well as evidence of what their actions have is what caused Christianity to not be believed. That's growing up. I was raised in that atmosphere, and everything about it is what it is. And Koji, it's Brad. Okay, it's this. It's
fucking terrible.
Starting here, probably messing with
what?
Wife or that
actually might be
horrible. I wouldn't watch this.
No, but my biggest thing is I went to church literally my whole life.
Yeah.
I went to Parkins, Kansas, and still went to church there, believing in all the same things. Derek, you know, from me being in high school, my dad was a huge advocate against porn and all of those things that came to Salina, Kansas, and actually went out and protested against them. And I got made fun of a lot for it in high school. I don't watch porn. I'm not mad about it or anything like that, but that was definitely part of my history, and I understand that, and it's something that I've had to deal with.
What's up, Tyler?
My life.
I agree with you, and I know where you're coming from. I feel the same way. I can tell you the exact moment where I lost my faith in God and Jesus. I was in youth group when I was like 13 years old, over at Emmanuel Church over there off of like Cloud or something. And this guy told a story about how he was going to commit suicide, and he like went to his garage and started running the car, fill it up with carbon monoxide. He wrote a suicide letter to his mom, and that he was like, oh, he forgot to write something, and he went in, and he in front of a crowd full of children, you know, young, whatever. He swore up and down that like when he went back in to revise the letter, that like God or that Jesus had wrote him a note that was like, oh, don't do it. You have so much to live for and all this stuff. I'm like, why would you lie to a bunch of people like that? It wasn't through organized religion that brought me back to God. It was just through studying the world. Yeah, basically. Because the people who run the world believe in the devil. That's just, it is what it is. I mean, like the Washington Monument is 666 feet in its entirety. The Pentagon is an upside down pentagram. Like, this shit goes back to like the Celtics and the fucking, like, this shit is dark, pagan, old school shit. Whatever. I mean, it is what it is, you know, like, it's kind of sad, but like the devil brought me back around to God in a way. And that's why I see like the dualistic nature of the world, about just how they try to game us. They try to fuck with our heads, telling there's 83 genders. Why is it wrong to just have a man and a woman like God into either there's up, down, dark, light, left, right? Everything is a binary system, but they want to try to fuck with your head and tell you that it's not what God and nature intended. That's the norm. But it's not, because if that was the norm, we would all die in a generation. I don't know. Did this get too deep?
Did we run into a lull?
I don't know.
I'm not sure what's going on the remote end.
They had a...
That looks like an armpit.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I don't know.
People will believe in anything if it's door to door. Why do you think I spent $3,000 on a vacuum?
Because you're a sucker, Jeremy Blair. Because you're a punk ass bitch. No, I'm just like, that's another thing I was gonna say. I don't know if you know this guy. I don't fucking know. I mean, obviously you probably do.
Yeah.
But another thing I have a problem with is just moderate people in general. Like, we live in such extreme times. Like, you need to have a stance on stuff. You know, moderate people are what the brainwashing works on. You know, it's like repetition, using spells, just keep saying the same thing over and over again. And moderate idiots are like, oh, that's true. Oh, it must be true because the news tells me over and over again.
It's
like,
not
no,
even
just having a fucking opinion, trusting your own ability to fucking reason through things. You know, but people don't. They're so brainwashed and indoctrinated.
It gets more micro than that too with work. Going to work every day, same job, same fucking thing at the end of the day, blah, blah, blah. Fuck that. I always have an opinion at work no matter what my day is like.
Yeah.
It's the right thing is right. No matter what. And I think a lot of jobs in manufacturing and wherever the fuck you work in Salina is driven by fear.
Yeah, that's what a lot of shit is run off of. Is fear. Yeah, they want to keep people afraid
because
they're powerless and afraid because that's the easiest way to control people. It's so obvious.
Yep.
It's like,
I ain't scared of you.
Yeah, that's the
I
best
work
way to
for
be.
you. If you don't like how I think this should run, fuck you.
I'll be all right without you. That's how you always gotta feel. Yeah, you'll be all right on your own.
I don't give a fuck.
Modern ass versus fuck you.
That's why I told my company, yes, you can put this show in the newsletter for my company because I don't give a fuck.
So it looks like they moved.
You guys moved upstairs?
I'm the epitome of a modem-ass bitch. Or modem-ass person, so fuck you, bitch. LOL.
Epitome.
The epitome. Oh, sorry. Well, I'm the epitome.
of a modern-ass person, so fuck you, bitch.
Well, I offended one person,
you probably know him. He's Keith's older brother.
Oh, I mean, I knew. Yeah, I recognized the last name, but I don't know who he is.
It's all good.
So, Derek,
that's fine. You can be trendy and cool. You can be trendy and cool to your grave. And you know what? Believe in modern science. Believe in social media.
What drives me
and
nuts
TV.
is the consumer mind state.
Yeah.
That we're so locked into. My dad is very, oh, I have this. I live on the hill. Blah 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 blah. And I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Why nobody perceives you as a better person because you live on the hill?
I feel like there's three types of people.
And if they do, then people don't count.
Especially with guys. There's beta males, alpha males, and then there's gamma males. And those are the people who are should be alpha males, but their head is in the wrong place.
The gammas?
It's not enough
or the betas?
No, the gammas. The betas, whatever. They're lost.
The betas are done.
Yeah, they're lost.
Okay.
But I just feel like it's not enough to want to be a good person. You have to know how to be a good person. And if you're too focused on the materialistic and not the spiritual, you'll never find the right way. You'll never feel fully fulfilled.
So then you're a gamma.
Yeah, you're a gamma. You could be an alpha, but you're a gamma male because you're just if you're just all about how tough you are or whatever, but you have no knowledge, you don't care about taking care of your family, you don't care about improving your knowledge,
your child,
then you have petty, egotistical pursuits. That's how I feel.
Same. What's up? What you got? You feeling pretty offended?
I'm not offended.
Jeremy Blair. No one cares. I don't even care about your brother Keith.
They're carrying on a conversation
he
on their
commenting.
end.
You know what? Keith's a cool guy. I don't know who the fuck you are.
And I'm listening to both of them.
Commenting.
And it's just
I want more people like Jeremy. No, of me. Oh, the legend of Jeremy Blair. Can we please talk about the legend of Jeremy Blair? Please? Oh, okay. What has he done? Oh, okay, cool. Once. So he is a legend.
And he peeked outside.
Okay,
and he's also the grill master at our.
No, of me. Do you see that response? That's exactly what I'm talking about. That's a gamma male right there. That's a motherfucking gamma. He cares so much about his ego, about how he looks to other people. Of me in caps of. Me. Fuck you. I don't give a fuck about you. I'm sorry, I don't give a fuck about you.
Brad, what's up?
Please do? No, I'm sorry. Even if you ask me please, I'm not gonna give a fuck about you.
Chantel, what's up, girl? What else? What else we got?
Brad, what you got? We only got 18 minutes left. I'm going to have to come back.
Hi, Chantel. Are you going to be on the show next week?
I don't know.
Another no time. Alright. Oh, here we
I'm
go.
a little disappointed in myself. I kept it too vanilla. I was trying not to, when I first thought about coming on here, I was like, I'm just going to offend everyone. I'm just going to go down the list. White people, black people, Jewish people, women. Just throw out people, and I'm just gonna offend them just to fucking Rap was created by gay Jews.
We have
Mexican people are cool. They're not willing enough to assimilate with American culture. Asian people are too exclusive. They're inhuman in a lot of ways.
So do you think the whole independent versus record label thing within rap has to do with what is the Illuminati that people refer to you?
Juicifarians.
Being Jews?
No, I mean, I won't say
or
totally,
being Satanists.
See, I feel like the Jewish thing is too obvious, and I don't want to be associated with Hitler or something, because I know good Jewish people.
So is it a Satanist molester type thing?
I think there's a fake subsect of Judaism that is like of the synagogue of Satan, basically, that pretend to care about spirituality and be like a thoughtful type of person, but really are only about their egotism and the materialistic aspect of life. That's what I think, and that's why there's so many of them. Like, you know, if you take like the pre-Judeo-Christian, or like if you take like the main three religions from like the same region of like Islam, Judaism, and Christianity. Christianity went through a reformation. You know, they don't believe in the same old school shit. They don't stone women to death. They don't whatever. Muslim people never went through a reformation. They still do that shit. They throw gays off buildings. They stone women to death or whatever. Judaism did also go through a reformation like Christianity, but their reformation was kind of a rejection of Jesus and God after they killed him, basically. They're like, we're our own God. Because if you look at the Old Testament, and I'm not trying to get all biblical, the Hebrews were looked at as like God's people. But they rejected him so much, and he smited him so often. And then Jesus came along and was like, everyone can be of God. All you have to do is accept me, you know? Or accept us, accept religion, accept a spiritual life, a good, humble, wholesome life. And modern Jews rejected that. We're our own gods. That's what they believe, and that's why the devil has fucking given them so much material wealth.
It just seems
because
like
he runs the material world.
You have these guys that stand ground like Tech9 and they say fuck the industry and they stay independent, and it almost seems like a binary question to where the gatekeepers almost go, you want to fuck children with us? Like as weird as it fucking sounds, it may be true. Maybe people like Tech9.
I've only offended one person. I've only offended Jeremy so far. Like, and he's some white guy, right? That's sad. I should have offended way more people than that. Yeah, I offended one guy, but whatever. I don't even fucking know that guy. I should offend way more people than that. Because people are so stuck in a fucking spell.
So hopefully
that's what I believe. Everyone's so.
Jerry,
did I wrong?
Fell over.
Sorry. Say whatever you want. Did I offend you?
No.
Have I offended you?
You can't offend me.
I can't offend you?
You're quiet.
You can try.
Are you sure?
I'm a quiet guy.
Are you always quiet
catch
on the
me in the mood.
podcast?
He's quiet like me usually.
It's quiet when he's stoned.
That's true.
That's
when he wears a raging hat too.
I'm ingesting. I'm ingesting and thinking.
I feel like my biggest strength is that I legitimately don't give a fuck what people think about me. I want to alienate myself from people to just fucking weed out the fucking fakers. Let them get out of my life. You know? I'll just say what I want. I'm not gonna be fake. I already offended some guy, Jeremy Blair, whoever the fuck that is. The Jeremy Blair. He's like, you know of me. You know the legend of Jeremy Blair. You don't know the real Jeremy Blair. It's fine. Whatever.
I like the fuck it mentality, because why waste time on people that don't care about the narrative that you believe in?
I've never even met this guy, and the chances of that, the fact I'll ever even meet him, are so minimal. Like, what's the point? There's 8+ billion people in the world. Like, why do I care about what one person thinks who disagrees with me? You know?
The world needs more people to think independently instead of going.
And the thing is,
the news said this. Tomorrow's going to be like that.
And you know what? And I'll get into this a little bit. The reason why I hate the left more than I hate the right is because they promote themselves as like the party of love and acceptance. And like, I actually love black people. I love gay people. I love, I have issues with all of them, but like, they act like they're about them, but they bring them down. Even stuff like the fat acceptance movement, or stuff like that. Just like women, why wouldn't you want to try to like care for a person who's living an unhealthy lifestyle? Why wouldn't you try to? I don't know. It's hard to explain. Like, like, I have a lot of respect for black people, actually. Like, I don't like rap music that much anymore, in like a certain sense, not mainstream radio rap music. I have an appreciation for the art. It's like poetry and music, you know, like if it's done right. But I feel like post NWA, it's been like an industry promotion of like bringing black culture down. But if you say that, you might seem racist. You know, like why is the N-word the N-word? Why is necrophiliac not the N-word? You know, why can I say necrophiliac? That's a person who fucks dead people, you know. But I can't say the N-word. You know?
Yeah, nobody gets offended by that shit.
Yeah, whatever. And I'm gonna offend some people right now. Why can't I say nigger-lipped, but people can say chinky-eyed?
Yeah.
I mean, what's the difference? You know, it's just words. It's only affects you how the
never
way.
Heard that.
Well, because that's. Like,
I've
because
heard
I'm trying
you
to
look
break people of their social
when you're
conditioning.
high as fuck.
Because you're supposed to have freedom of speech. Why can't you say what you want to say? You know? Why is it that, like, oh, you can't say the N-word, but they're going to sell that to your kids? They're going to put it in rap songs and sell it to your kids. What are you going to say when your kid comes up to you and be like, what does nigga mean? You know? Like, oh, you can't say that. Don't say that. Yeah. Just listen to it in music. But you can say chinky-eyed. You can say, like, whatever.
Kendrick bringing that white bitch on stage.
That was such a fucking... Yeah, I remember that shit with Kendrick Lamar.
Talk about a publicity stunt and just Hollywood in general. Like, bring her on stage. You knew what was going to happen. And then exploit her.
And you repeat my name as if you want to give me a Valentine's card. Don't worry, you got a year to... Oh man, see, people like that, I can't, like, he's either a gamma or a beta. You know, like, he's a dude. I don't doubt that he's probably a good dude, whatever, like, he might wouldn't think, but I mean,
I like Blair. I like Blair.
It's just funny to me.
But he's shit talker.
Why should he take anything that I say personally?
What are the
They're just words.
What are the characteristics of an alpha?
And, like, I feel like an alpha is someone who just takes care of their business, you know? They care about their family. They try to improve themselves in any way possible. Like, it doesn't mean you have to be, like, the most badass fighter or the best athlete or whatever. Like, you just gotta be someone who cares about the well-being of others and improving yourself. Most people aren't like that. Most people are beta as fuck, and they'll be like, I'll do whatever I can. I'll say whatever I can to get laid. Oh, yeah, women are better than men. Whatever. Or gamma males who are like, oh, I'll go to the gym 5 times a week and bench 300, but I won't know shit about anything that goes on around me. You know, like, I don't respect that. I just don't. You're actually a well-rounded person.
So it was
we live in an over-specialized world. You know what? The virtue of being like a Renaissance man or a jack of all trades is lost on the modern man, because you're supposed to just be like, sit in this cubicle and do this one thing. That's your lot in life. That's your lot in life. Just do this one specialized thing. Don't try to think outside the box. That's what education teaches you. Don't think outside the box. Just learn how to take orders.
So the term alpha male was coined by a French scientist. He did a TED talk about it, and it's pretty interesting. And he originally coined the term in observation of chimps, and he talked about the characteristics that define a true alpha male. There are imitators of what an alpha male truly is, but then they observe what happens to those people. His physical prowess serves a purpose in a ferocious situation. In a ferocious animal world, physical prowess is a factor, but true alpha males have a physical prowess component. They typically don't tend to be the most physically inclined.
Who's Jason talking to?
No idea. The true alpha males are the ones who are the best mediators and the most empathetic, actually. So like the females in the chimpanzee community tend to be some of the most volatile. Confrontation within each other, and the alpha male tends to be the one that will be the mediator and say, "Yo, chill your shit out," and they actually form coalitions, and so they're the best at forming a community of supportive, equally dominant physically males that will support them. So that if, say,
Jason, can you not hear Tate talking?
No, I believe that. I think there's a lot of truth to that.
No.
I mean, it's the difference between a chimp
No?
and like an Alberto monkey that just fucking. I don't know. Yeah. I definitely.
it's a TED Talk.
That.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, I listen to some of those, but I mean,
They've been experiencing the same thing on their end. They've talked a lot. And
okay. We need
totally
to communicate with them more. I feel like we're having two separate podcasts.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Well, we have Jason off screen talking to somebody, and then Welcome sitting there.
Everybody drunk at the same time. At the same time. It's been a good podcast, guys.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed myself. I just wish we had a little bit more time. I feel like I was just getting started.
It'd be better for an individual one-on-one type
So,
scenario.
having a sidecar for the first time.
Well, the fucking webcam shit doesn't help. It'd be better if everybody was here in person.
Yeah. And we're
Delicious.
5 minutes from 9. I'd say let's call it.
Charlie and Justin, good job.
Way to go, Charlie and Justin.
But they did.
I didn't even get into women or music.
Derek, last second question,
Last second question.
and I'll let you go home on this one.
Glory holes, yes or no?
I don't even like pornography, so no.
What?
That just opened the whole thing.
Derek is very much like me. We are not
It's like a
huge
5
porn
second
fans.
Because you have a girlfriend.
No, it's not even
no,
about that.
it's
I
not.
just feel like pornography
For real,
ruins
Derek.
society
So,
and relationships.
Can I go on this? Fracking.
And they probably didn't even fucking know that.
No,
Fracking.
it's fine. Fracking?
How much does it actually fuck the environment? How much does it?
I don't know enough about it to speak on it, to be honest. Like, that's not one of my area of expertise. I've heard a lot of, like, varying...
Alright, I think we're done. Because nothing's transmuting right now.
Love you guys.
Cheers.
Let's cheers it out and
Love you, welcome.
let's get
Hope to see you next time.
Derek on another time because
When you're back in town, we'll do it again. Maybe with Jeremy Blair. Yeah, I shouldn't even give him JB.
cheers.
Maybe with Justin
fuckers.
Bieber.